And now, Nintendo with an announcement for Pokemon Home.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
So remember when we said that Ghost Recon Breakpoint was the most monetized AAA game in history? Do you remember that, Sam? Do you remember anything, Sam, at all?
I have to play along here. I do remember that.
Well, it was in the thumbnail, and it was the thing we said.
I also remember that Pokemon was extremely overpriced, in your opinion.
But we have a new winner, because Pokemon Home has been revealed. It's the storage solution that allows you to pay Nintendo more money for some reason. They found a way for you to give them more money. They did it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a complete scam. Like, Pokemon at this point is just a complete rip-off. This is the Laymen hate on Pokemon.
This is a long intro.
Volume. This is the Laymen hate on Pokemon volume 85. Let's go and do the drop.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em, you and me. Charge you disgustingly, Pokemon.
Nice.
Oh, God, that's
Beautiful.
good, guys.
That's a great version.
That should be a whole meme right there.
This is like a version.
Actually, you know what?
Lamon
Nintendo's
Gamon
going to be like,
edition.
copy strike. Like,
That's right.
These guys.
They will,
You know what? It's cool.
Alright, so Pokemon Sword and Shield. Look, we have done some coverage on that game in the past.
1 or 2.
We didn't love it.
It's been a good release.
Sam thinks it's really good, of course.
I still
Sam's
retain.
a pathetic apologist Nintendo cuck.
Still retain that people
Right?
love
So-
Pokemon for what it is, everybody. Let you do you. But it has been a bit of a rocky road. We had the Dexter, okay? We had the lack of visual look. There was the promise of new animational upgrades and stuff like that.
Animational upgrade.
Animation upgrades, you know what I'm talking about, people. They didn't come, okay? And they also gave this whole idea of, guys, we can only put a certain amount of Pokemon in because data or, like, you know, the amount of space we have. Turns out there's a new DLC coming out, and of course it has all the Pokemon everyone wants and loves. So that original idea of why they couldn't put them all in was bullshit. This has pissed people off.
It has pissed people off. It led to a very, very controversial launch. Some clickbait YouTube commentators dared to say that Pokemon wasn't particularly great.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The Metacritic score is actually the lowest Metacritic score for any mainline Pokemon entry.
That's because of the desert thing, though. Okay.
It's a lot of stuff. The critics I don't think really care about Dexit, and the critic score is the lowest it's been. So,
Fair enough.
look, there is a lot of room for this game to improve. I will absolutely concede that people still love Pokemon for what it is, for the nostalgia factor,
That's
for the
Ralph
cute
apologizing.
collection, whatever. but I think even hardcore Pokemon fans agree that this game could have been a lot more, and should have been a lot more, given it's the first time a mainline Pokemon entry has appeared on an actual console. So, that's the background. Where do we get to now? So in addition to the recently announced DLC, which is 2 separate DLC packs sold for $30 each that sell you 200 Pokemon, some of them older Pokemon returning.
Yes.
Okay, in addition to that, they've also announced the details for what's called Pokemon Home, which is the Pokemon storage solution that will replace Pokemon Bank, allowing you to store your Pokemon in the cloud and then transfer them to future Pokemon games. So the features and price for Pokemon Home have now been revealed. And they're ridiculous. Like, it's not like buckets of cash, but at this point, it's really about the principle of how much of a laugh Pokemon is having at this point. Okay, so Pokemon Home will cost you $16 annually,
And that's
or it will
US?
cost you or it will cost you like $3 a month. Okay, so you could choose. There are a number of there's a free tier called Basic, and then there's the Premium tier, right?
This basic bitch.
Oh,
is
this basic one, man.
It's laughable. Okay, let's just go through the features.
Let's
of
go
this.
through it, okay? So, first of all, on the basic tier, you cannot move your Pokemon from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home. This is important because Pokemon Bank will essentially be decommissioned. It's not going to exist in the future. It's not the future of Pokemon storage. So if you want to transfer your stuff, you have to pay money to get it onto the new service. There's no one-time migration for free.
I wonder if they are going to just keep that, just letting people have it there forever, or if they have officially come out and said, guys, this is actually closing, have they?
They didn't say it's closing, but they did say that all of the future of Pokemon storage is Pokemon Home.
So it's ultimately
not
there's
gonna get
no
any
future updates for that.
Correct, right?
Cool.
Number 2, Pokemon.
The biggest one here.
The number of Pokemon that can be deposited in the free version is 30 Pokemon.
You probably catch 30 Pokemon in the first 2 hours of playing the game.
Correct.
Let alone all the other games that you've...
The premium one is 6,000 Pokemon can be stored. So if you just pay Nintendo just a little bit of cash, just a little bit of dollars, they'll let you store some actual Pokemon. The free version though, 30 Pokemon. 30.
There is no use for that. If you actually want to pay for this, That means that you like Pokemon. And if you like Pokemon, you have more than 30 Pokemon. Laughable. Next.
Now, there's actually 4 features here, which we won't go into too much detail, but they are number of Pokemon that can be placed in the Wonder Box at once, which is 3 versus 10.
I don't know what the Wonder Box is, do you know?
Okay, we'll come back. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the global trade system at once, 1 versus 3. You can host rooms versus not, and there's also a judge function to be able to look at the stats of your Pokemon. Basically, these are 4 features that Pokemon fans, really hardcore Pokemon fans, want to use. And what they've done with the basic tier is that you can do like a little bit of it or none of it, and with the premium tier, you can actually do it properly. So what they've done here is basically create a problem so they can sell you back the solution.
Yeah.
There's no reason these things should not be available to everyone for free, and everyone just has no limits on it, fine. But no, of course, they want to sell you that so that you have to buy it.
This is actually a mobile game monetization structure.
It is
you know,
absolutely
like,
that.
guys, it's free, but then you jump on and it's like so shit that you have to spend money.
Yep.
It's Star Wars Battlefront 2 for Pokemon. You know what I mean? It is literally just a laughable excuse after so much money has been already put into Pokemon. And this is where we get to the next bit.
Yeah, so look, the money side of things is really interesting. There was a really interesting post that I read on Reddit, which I think really raises some interesting points. It reads this, okay? It says, that's a very greedy price point if I've ever seen one. $16 a year for storage and extra server usage. That in no way makes sense. Storage is cheap, stupidly cheap, and the data needed for even 6,000 Pokemon isn't that much. Judging on the fact that a PKM file, which they can data mine, appears to be 344 bytes, storing 6,000 Pokemon is only 2 megabytes. That's how much storage it takes. Assuming a generous 10 million users, far more than the total sales so far I believe, that's about 20 terabytes of data that you will need to store everyone's Pokemon if everyone gets on this service. I have that much in my computer.
I think I have
20
half of
terabytes
that.
in my computer right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Only 1 year of those users keeping a subscription would yield $160 million for Nintendo and Game Freak. I mean, that's essentially it. Like, the amount of profit that they look to make on this service is astronomical.
Yeah, and I get it.
Crazy.
Like, data does take money because they need to do it, and that's been a excuse that other games have put forward in the past.
And it's a fact that it does cost money.
Of course, but what really is being said here is like the 16 is probably going to sounds like it's going to cost like a cent per person, not even like of 0.1 cent.
Nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make $16 of this is laughable.
So where it gets even weirder is that there's going to be a version of Pokemon Home on your phone, like an app, and there's also going to be one on the Switch. And for some reason, these have different features in that you can't do everything on both.
That's really weird.
So for example, if you want to trade Pokemon, you can't do that on the Switch version of the app. You need to go to your phone to trade Pokemon. You can't receive mystery gifts on the Switch version. You can't check battle data or check news on the Switch version of this app. You have to go to your phone. Why does it need to be this? And like, exchange Pokemon Home points for battle points. You can't do that on the phone. You can only do that on the... Like, why?
Is this some weird strategy to make them want to make you have to use both platforms? Like, what is it? I agree with you. Just put it either on... Everything for the premium should be on at least one of those. Like, at least. It feels like Stadia, for God's sakes, where you have to, like, download the game on your phone to play it somewhere else. You know, like, why do you need both of those integrated? It's a pain in the butt.
So, look, I think what's really interesting about this is if you start taking the total cost of Pokemon into account when you look at absolutely everything, right?
Yeah.
So, let's say you're a really hardcore Pokemon fan and you want to buy both games at launch, which a lot of people do, by the way.
I mean, look, some people
No, a lot
do.
of hardcore Pokemon fans do
fine.
that. That's
Sure.
a thing,
Sure,
man.
sure, sure.
So, you're already talking $120 to start. There are 2 expansion packs being sold, one for each version of the game, which means that you are spending $60 on expansions. You need to buy a Nintendo Online subscription, which is $20 a year, and now you need to spend $16 a year to be able to store your Pokemon. So you're actually talking a total of $216 to have a complete Pokemon experience for just the first year of this generation. That is absolute madness.
And even if you're not a hardcore person, you take the $90 out of only getting one game and one expansion, that's still $126. That's like $160 Aussie. That is a hell of a lot of money for a Pokemon game. Like,
for a kids game, guys.
It is a lot of money.
It's just a kids game, guys. It's a $216 kids game.
I think that this is like a really good way of, like, you know, making it. It's not microtransactions, guys, but it's like macro transactions.
And I think that's one of the things. A lot of people are like, well, we have to love Game Freak because they're giving us DLC and not microtransactions. microtransactions, good guy, Game Freak. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Like, if you had microtransactions in it, you were probably going to be spending less than $216. I'm sorry, but just because they overcharge you and everything else, and then sell DLC and on microtransactions doesn't make them good guy Game Freak. Like, that's just not a thing.
Yeah.
I think most of this though is more about principle than anything else, right? If Game Freak had shipped an absolutely stupendous, astounding, like, Pokemon title, whatever, then we would be like, all right, cool, look, you're charging us a lot, but you've clearly done amazing work. You've clearly sort of like put your customer first. This is a bit of a rort, but we can kind of stomach it.
Yeah.
$16 at the end of the day is not going to break the bank. It's like 2 or 3 Starbucks coffees or whatever, if you're stupid enough to drink Starbucks, okay?
Yeah, which we have in
America, because there's no other choice, okay?
Yeah.
But like, it's not about the money. It's really about just how much respect Game Freak is showing their customers at this point. They could have done this for free if they have this massive database of people that they can send email marketing out to. That's already going to return the cost of investment when it comes to storing 2 megabytes worth of storage data for your Pokemon.
Well, hang on, it could be Snorlax, okay? He's going to be probably heavier, okay? He's probably going to be bigger than 2 megabytes. But look, I think that this is just really bad timing for Game Freak, you know? In terms of
timing?
Bad timing, of course. I mean, like, in terms of, like, not only have they got one of the worst Metacritic scores ever, they have a huge backlash from their actual, from their fan base. They're coming out on top of this and making you pay $16 for an entire year. Now, I'm not saying it's good. It should be acceptable at any time. What I'm saying is, it's even worse that it's happening right now for them. People are pissed. People are getting over what currently Pokemon is, and on top of that, now you're trying to over monetize your product. If it was The Witcher 3 and they were like $16 a year to keep a bunch of series, you'd be like, all right, I love your CD Projekt Red. It's all good. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a bunch of series in a cage. No, but you know, like, it all comes down to what the relationship is with that company and with that publisher.
I agree, and I think you also have the likes of TemTem really kind of putting a lot of heat on them. TemTem's done extremely well, and it's not a rip-off, and it's a complete game, and it looks great. I'm going to go as far as to say that at this point,
it's Game of the Year.
Pokemon is just an overpriced TemTem clone.
Yeah, okay. Let's get that out there and annoy Game Freak by saying that now Pokemon is actually copying TemTem.
It's an overpriced TemTem clone.
That'll be good.
That's what it is. Every fanboy you see in the comment section, just say,
stop playing TemTem's clone.
This is actually from my friend Zendru. He gave me this suggestion.
Oh, really?
I'm like, that is the perfect troll.
It's ours, guys. Okay, you heard it here first.
Pokemon, overpriced TemTem clone.
That's it. Goodbye.